Hello, everybody. All right, welcome to my Facebook Live. Let's try this out again today. Hopefully, y'all be able to join us in here in just a second. And if you do, I would love to hear it. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to hear that you can hear what I'm saying. All right, so a couple things I want to talk about. Hey, somebody just joined us. A couple things I want to talk about today is, as you might know, we just brought home a little girl from China, Hazel. Hey, Gary. Hey, Christopher. So if y'all let me know that you can hear me, because one time I was really smart and I forgot to turn on the microphone. So hopefully you guys can hear me. If you can let me know that, set my mind at ease. So I'm here in the Lyric Lab today. Just want to talk to y'all about we brought Hazel home. And so I see a lot of lately, a lot of songwriting analogies in my life and having kids and stuff. So hey, Christopher. And so anyway, we brought Hazel home and she's basically a 9-month-old. And so, I have one of these things because every parent in America, I think, is issued one of these when you have a baby. So, you stack up your blocks here. And so I'm down on the floor with her in the living room, just trying to entertain her. And so I'm stacking these things up, and she crawls over and she knocks it down. She pulls every one of these things off. And so I do it again. What does she do? She pulls it off again. And then I get some of those blocks, the blocks, and start building those up. And she will basically crawl across the rug just boop, done, get it behind me. And the funny thing about it is, like, it doesn't excite her to do that. But it's almost like it's her job. Like, it's her job to come over and knock that thing down and to make sure they're not even two on top of each other. They all have to be completely separated and not on each other anymore, because it somehow offends her sensibilities to have anything stacked more than floor level. And so I was playing this little game with her, and I started thinking about songwriting because it's how I'm wired. And, she's like some of those people we play our songs for who will tear down our songs. We have those people, the trolls out there, that we put a song up. It seems like they will cross the room. They will cross the internet just to come and tear our song down. And I wonder, do those people get joy out of that? Like Hazel, she doesn't seem to enjoy tearing my stack of blocks down or whatever. I'm just doing it to give her something to do. But she doesn't seem to enjoy it, but she can't help but do it. And that's interesting. And so I think sometimes people are that way. And I know it's not just Hazel, because all my kids have been that way. As babies, Ozzy was that way and Ruby was that way. That there comes a point in their development where they aren't able to stack blocks up themselves, but they sure do enjoy tearing them down, or at least they just can't seem to help themselves. Like, that's how they can have an effect on it. They can't build up their own stuff, so what do? Well, I can walk over there and I can affect it by tearing it down and wiping the floor with it, right? And spreading everything out that you were building up. That's a little game we play. And I think with your songwriting, it's helpful to think that some people are just wired that way. Maybe they aren't creators. Maybe they aren't where they can build their own stacks and stack their own stuff up. And so what do? They're just kind of wired to tear down. And like with Hazel, it's nothing personal. It's not that she doesn't like what I stacked up. It's not that she has a vendetta against me. It's not that my little thing I'm stacking is bad. That's just how she's wired. She's going to tear it down because that's how babies are wired at this point in their development. And later on, she'll get where she's going to stack up stuff herself. But right now, she's just tearing stuff down. And I think it's helpful. Oh, also, if you have any questions that you want me to address, feel free to send those in the comments, because I'll be happy to address those if I can as time allows. But I think it's important that when you play your songs, that you put them up on the internet, and the trolls come out. I think it's important to remember, for some people, that's just how they're wired. It's nothing personal. That's just how they can have an effect on the situation. Like with Hazel, right? She can't build her own stuff. So what can she do? She can knock them over. And she can have maybe some strength, some autonomy that way. And I think some people are that way. They can't build their own stuff, or they don't want to, or they're scared to. But they can exercise some control, some strength, some power, right? By tearing down your stuff and other people's stuff. It's not personal. It's not about you. It's about them and what they can and can't do. So I think that's important to realize, that it's not always about your song. Sometimes it's just about the listener. And I think another thing to do is accept it, right? Because if I were trying to get Hazel to like my little castle I'm building, right, to impress her, make her clap and go, daddy, daddy, so good. She's not there yet. She doesn't care. She doesn't get the fact that I'm stacking this thing up 5 bricks high or whatever. If I don't accept that, I'm going to get frustrated. I'm going to take it personal, right? So you need to accept that some people are just that way, and some people are just not going to like what you do or not even care, but it's about their agenda, not about you. And so we need to accept that. I think another thing we need to do is find a different set of ears if we can. For example, if I want to get something going where I'm want to build up a big castle, then I'm going to grab Quill or Ozzy or Ren, maybe Ruby Jean, and one of my other plethora of kids. And I'm going to find one of them who's a little more, developed, who will understand that the concept of, yeah, let's build something. Like Ren, he does these big old Lego things. We just had Christmas, so he got a big old Lego set. And he was in there half the day putting this big old complicated spaceship together with Legos. He can do that. Hazel can't do that. So if I want to build something and get someone to join me in that process, I'm going to go to him. So I think don't take it personal. Accept it. That's sometimes there are just people out there that want to do that. And then also find a different set of ears if you want some true feedback. Now, sometimes people will just not like your song, and it's fine. Sometimes it means we do have more growing to do as a writer. It's not always that it's about them and not about our song. No, sometimes people's opinions are valid. If our second verse doesn't make sense, well, sometimes it's because our second verse doesn't make sense. It's not because they have their own agenda. And part of doing this long enough is learning to hopefully discern some of those things. And I hope that you'll take some time to do that. But again, not be so emotional about it, and just realize a certain amount of that is about their own agenda and not about yours. But if anyone has any questions, you can throw them in there real quick. But also I just want to tell you about a gift that I have for you. I have a free ebook. It's called Think Like a Pro Songwriter. And you can get instant access to it at giftfrombrent.com. It's up in my description of the video here. It's giftfrombrent.com. It gets you immediate access. You just tell me where to email it. I email it out to you. It's full of some of what I've learned in my years in the music business. But anyway, I don't see any questions, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. But Claire, Cliff, Samuel, Tom, Beverly, Forrest, Russ, Dave, Larry, a bunch of folks, Jules, thank you, and some people whose name I can't pronounce. Paul, thanks for joining in. You're catching us on the tail end here. But again, the free gift is giftfrombrent.com. We get you that free ebook. And also, I would encourage you to check out songwritingpro.com. It's where I blog a couple times a week. And I'm going to try and do more of these Facebook Lives. So hopefully you like it. If you like it, leave a comment. Ask me to do more. Still, even when this isn't live, you can ask a question, and I may address it in the next one. But remember, you keep stacking. Sometimes people are going to tear down your songwriting. It doesn't mean you need to quit. You just need to accept it. Realize that some of those people are there. It's not personal, and keep on building anyway. So God bless. Keep on writing, and we'll see you later. Oh, wait. Claire has a question. What would you recommend for writing strong verses? Well, lyrically, because that's kind of where I spend most of my time is lyrically, I would say you want to have you want to build to your chorus, right? Your chorus is kind of the main thing in your song that's people are going to hang on to, right? And so the job of your first line is to get people to want to listen to your second line. All right, your song's first line, that job is to make people want to hear the second line. So it needs to be interesting. I think it's really great when your first line can start with have some sort of strong imagery in there. I know, especially in the country world, imagery is huge. It gives the listener something to picture, right? It anchors them somewhere. I remember in my first publishing deal with Major Bob Music, I'd written some song, and it was very emotional, but it didn't have much story or much furniture in it, is kind of the common word in Nashville. Didn't have much imagery in it. And I played it for my song plugger, Mike Doyle. And he's like, man, he goes, I'm just kind of floating around here. There's nothing for me to hang on to. I need some context, right? He needed to see some things. And that's something I've noticed in songs. If you can start off with a strong image, then immediately it anchors the listener. They can see what's going on, and they can start watching that video in their mind, and things become a little more real. So that's one thing. Start with a strong image. I like to map my song out. And so you might say, and then I do this sometimes when I'm pre-writing, before I go into a co-write or something, I'll have an idea of what I want the song to do. So I may say, hey, first verse, in general terms, I want the first verse to accomplish this. And then the chorus does this. Second verse, what should that do? Well, I've already covered that in the first verse, so let me do this in the second verse. And so I have a sense of where things are going and kind of pacing, how much I need to accomplish in each verse, because each verse has its own job to do. So keep the rhyme scheme different from your chorus in general is a good thing to do, because it helps your melody stay different. It helps it stand out from the chorus, and so that's important too. But I just try to think what does a listener need from me at this point before we hit that chorus, and I think that'll tell you a lot about what your verse needs to do. So anyway, pretty broad question, kind of a broad answer, but hope that helps. Let's see. Christopher Jones, thanks for leaving a question. If you're outside of Nashville and have limited access to what the market will be looking for in the future, how do you build a catalog that a publisher will still be interested in, or at least keep them interested in you as a writer? Great question. And even honestly, when you live in Nashville, you don't always know where the market's going. Yes, the stuff that's on the radio now was written in the past, right? It wasn't just written the day before you heard it on the radio. So there's a lead time, there's a lag time. Part of it is study the radio in your given genre. So it's, say in this case, country, listen, know the top 40, know what's climbing up, what new artists are doing well, see if you notice any trends, that sort of thing. And you're trying to project into the future for these artists and what things may be happening in the future. So part of that is just knowing the market in general. I think as far as getting a publisher interested in you, I think wise publishers are looking for songwriters more than they're looking for songs. Like finding a hit song is like finding a golden egg, right? It's great, it's valuable. But a great songwriter is the goose that lays the golden eggs. And so I've had publishers tell me that they're just like, bring me your best stuff. Don't worry about finding the songs that you think are most commercial, that you think I'll like. Bring me the stuff that is most you and the stuff that you love the most, because I want to know what you do. And if you have this cool vibe that you do that's a little more uniquely you, but it's cool, and it may not quite fit where they think the market is going or where the market is right now, but there's something really cool and honest, and you have something to say. I have another publisher friend that says that, like, I just got to feel like you have something to say. You bring those in, and then if they think there's something real there, like there is a real songwriter in there, they can put you in the room with people that can help nudge you and help guide you to writing more commercial things that can help all of y'all make a living. So that's my suggestion. Bring in stuff that you think really represents you, has a high bar for the songwriting, and gives them a true representation of who you are and what you want to do. Because if you work with them, you're going to be you, right? At the end of the day, we kind of go back to who we truly are, our true north. And hopefully we're always growing, but I'd say that bring in the stuff that you love the best, that like, yes, if I could write this kind of stuff, this is truly me and this is my best stuff. And hopefully they will see the writing in that and see something that even if it doesn't quite fit, they can put you in the room with people and help guide you to that. So hopefully that helps, Christopher. Mark Anthony, does setting matter? Most countries at the bar, in the car, couch, kitchen talking, themes are common. Are these common for a reason? Yeah, man, each genre kind of has its own conventions, I guess. I'd say the biggest thing is, what is your story call for? What does your story need? But also kitchen table, car, couch, man, those are all really universal things. It's nothing so odd out there. I guess some stuff that's a little more specific might be, like Chesney type stuff or some J.K. Owen stuff, Jimmy Buffett, where they're at the beach, right? A lot of stuff doesn't happen in an urban setting. Urban, I mean, in the city, right? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Lady A's downtown is a little more, I guess, urban versus rural that way. So I'd say really follow what your song needs and what the story dictates on that. So, but yeah, there are common places for a reason, but I think part of it, if you're looking for the Just study the market, man. And you do, I know you do. So what's common, but if something's different but still makes sense for the story, but is not so far out there. I mean, you put in a song where the man is on the moon, maybe really odd for a country song, right? Because it's not realistic. However, if it's, yeah, the back row of a church, yeah, that's pretty realistic. If it's at the kitchen table, if it's at the bar, if it's on the side of the road, whatever it is. I think there's there for a reason, but who's the audience and what's the audience going to relate to? It's kind of what it comes down to. Hey, Claire, thank you. Thumbs up. Good. All right. Hope that helped. All right. Well, I'm about 15 minutes in, so I'll try to keep these fairly short and sweet. But if you want to see more of these or other questions you have, feel free to pop them in there. Even if it's not live, I go back and I check these out, and maybe I'll address it in a future live. And I hope you like it. Thanks a lot. Keep on writing, and Merry Late Christmas. We'll see you later. God bless.